Atlas, come. Good boy. Place. Sit. Good boy. Atlas, come. Good boy. Right here. Place. Sit. Down. Yes. Good boy. Nope. Come. Right here. Place. Down. Atlas. Come. Place. Sit. Nope. Sit. Boy. Down. Yes. Boy. Just putting in the reps, folks. Just putting in the reps. Just putting in the reps. That's all we doing. Atlas is actually training to be. Come. Come. Right here. Come. Place. Sit. Yes. Sit. Sit. Yes. Down. Down. So Atlas is actually training to be a service dog. So we're working with Atlas right now on some basic obedience. He's a very high energy dog. So, you know, service dog for him. I think it's locked. Is it open? Let me know. Okay. What you got? Oh, okay. So yeah, Atlas is training to be a service dog. So you want this chair? Hold on. See how well he did? I went all the way in the front yard. The gate is open, right? There's a gate. You see this tarp right here? That's actually a gate that opens and closes. He could have ran out into the street. He could have did anything he wanted to, and he stayed there. So that's good. He's gonna get a big reward for that. So yeah, so Atlas is training to be a service dog. He's a very, very high energy dog. So impulse control for him is huge, right? So we've been working diligently on his impulse control. So now, being that he's been doing so good, I'm gonna give him the free command and just kind of let him be. Atlas free. Yes, good boy. That's a good boy, yeah. That's a good boy, Atlas. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Come here, Atlas. Come here, Atlas. Come. Yes, good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Dirty boy. Where you going? You got the lead on. You can't go nowhere. Come. Come. Good boy. Come. Yes, good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Hey, stop it. All that noise. Relax. Good boy. That's a good boy. So yeah, hey, where you going? Come. Right here. Place. Down. Yes. Good boy. Good boy. Boy. So yeah, folks, we've been working diligently on impulse control. So, you know, he's doing pretty doggone good, man, if I shall say so myself. Like I said, he's training to be a service dog. So, you know, he has to go into public places and be able to control himself and maintain his composure, right? So we've been diligently working on that. So you tell me what you think. You know, you tell me what you think about his production so far. What's this crown? What's this crown mean? They got some new stuff going on YouTube, and I'm not exactly sure what it means. Peace, peace, peace. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? I appreciate y'all tapping in. Peace, peace, peace. Atlas, come. Right here. Yes. Place. Sit. Down. Sit. Come on, figure it out. Sit. Yes, good boy. Come on. Good boy. Yeah. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yeah. That's a good boy. Hey, man. Hey, stop all the whining. It's unnecessary. Stop it. Stop. You're going to get your turn. Okay, we're going to work this guy, Atlas, a little bit longer. Then we're going to bring out another dog and work that dog as well. Atlas, come. Place. Sit. 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 Come on, figure it out. Sit. Come on. Yes, good boy. Yes. Good boy. Down. Now I'm going to disappear out of sight, and I want to see how long he stays in that position, right? So you guys are going to come with me, and we're going to keep the camera on him. Going to disappear out of sight. Good boy. See that verbal correction? Very important that you have verbal corrections. Very important that you have verbal corrections. So we're gonna go back around the car. We're gonna play peekaboo a little bit. All right, now I'm gonna call him to me. Atlas, come. Good boy, yes, come. As you can see, guys, the street is right here. Sit. Down. Sit. Down. Down. Good boy, yes. Free. So yeah, let me flip this camera around. Hold on. There we go. So yeah, that's a good boy. So as you can see, I have the long lead on him. Long leads and retractable leashes are the best thing in the world. You know, I think they are highly underused. A lot of people have a bad misconception about retractable leashes, but they are one of the best things in the world to me. In my opinion, it's probably one of the, if not the best training tool outside of a good slip leash. Hey, Atlas. Yes, good boy. Sit. Down. Good boy. Yes, that's a good boy. Take it down. Yes, good boy. Good boy. So now I'm going to keep him here. So again, down. Down. Good boy. So now I'm going to keep him here. And we're going to take it back in the backyard. So he has to keep it. As you can see, the street is right there, right? Now, again, as a safety precaution, I have the long lead, so he can't make it to the street. But he does have a lot of freedom to move and break the command if he chooses to. See, he's still sitting over there. Ah, ah, ah. He broke command, so now he gets corrected. Come. Come. Right there. Sit. Ah, hey. Sit. Down. If you notice, I never use the word stay. My stay is an implied stay. So whatever position I put you in, that means stay in that position until I tell you to break that position. As you can see, he's still sitting there. Ah! Sit. Down. Good boy. Good boy. Believe it or not, just literally changing the location of what you do makes the commands totally different, right? So when I was having him in a sit stay here, he had no problems. As you guys saw, I went out there. For the most part, he stayed in position. But as soon as we switched the location from here to here, right, he started breaking command more, right? There's more stimulation out there, right? He's used to this area here, right? That's why it's important that you socialize your dog. That's why you take your dog to different environments so they understand that the commands are the same everywhere you go. All right, so let's bring him in. Atlas, come. Good boy. Yes, come, 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 come. Now you see he's slowing down. This is where the long lead comes in. Come. Yes, good boy. Come, 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 come. Place. Sit. Down. Good boy. Yes, that's a good boy. So now he gets put up. And we're gonna bring out the next dog. Let me put you guys back over here for a second. Put you guys back over here for a second. Switch the camera around. There we go. Okay, let me grab the next dog. Heel. Place. Right there. Sit. Come. Place. Yes. Yes. Heel. Sit. Sit. Right. Come. Come. All right. Heel. Heel. Hey, come. 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 Good boy. Sit. Good boy. Good boy. So just so you guys know, right? This puppy here, this boxer, I've had him for about a week. He's with me for a 2-week training program. So we're just kind of working on some basic obedience, right? And here's the reality, folks. I tell people all the time, there's nothing I can do with your dog in a short period of time that the dog is going to be with me that is going to outweigh what you do with the dog for the rest of his life. So I can do all the training in the world for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. And if you don't continue, right? If you don't stay consistent, persistent, diligent, patient, right? Everything that I've done in that time period that your dog is with me is going to be undone, right? And it happens often. You know, it doesn't matter how often or how much I tell people that. You know, the vast majority of the time, I get messages like the dog is not listening anymore, and you know, so on and so forth. And the question that I always ask myself and ask the customer is, well, if the dog is not listening, what are you doing or what are you not doing to make the dog not listen to you, right? So I'll always put the onus, always put the accountability on the owner of the dog. Because the truth is a dog, right? A dog is only going to do what you allow it to do. So anyway, I'm finished my little rant. Let's get back to work. Let's go. Come on, Disco. Disco. Come in, buddy. Come in, Disco. Come. Yes, good boy. Right here. Yes, that's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yes. That's a good boy. Yes. Sit. Sit. Yes, good boy. Ah. Sit. Yes, good boy. Come. Yes, good boy. Right here. Come on. Sit. Yes, good boy. That's a good boy. Sit. Sit. Yes, good boy. That's a good boy. Yes. So just to let you guys know, basically what I'm working on with this guy here is again impulse control. Hey, Shea Life. That's my wife. Impulse control, right? And that's for the vast majority of dogs. That's going to be the main thing that needs to be worked on. So that's typically the first thing I attack, so to speak, or the thing that I focus on the most. Because if we can get dogs to control their impulses, then everything else typically comes a lot easier. Hey, babe, can you hear me when I'm all the way back there? Oh, yeah. So if you can get a dog to control their impulses, right, everything else comes a whole lot easier. So that's pretty much what we're focusing on with him, as well as, you know, it's probably going to be every dog that I work with is impulse control, right? Because the mechanics, right, like sit, down, all of that stuff is fairly simple to teach, right? Where it gets harder is teaching the dog to hold those positions, right? So teaching the sit, teaching the down is probably the shortest period of time that you're going to spend compared to how much time you spend teaching the dog to stay in those commands, right? So that's where the vast majority of my time goes, is into teaching the dog how to hold those commands, right? So that's pretty much what we're doing here. We also have to introduce the down to Disco here. So as a matter of fact, let's go through teaching some down commands, right? Let's do that. Right here. Disco. Right here. Right here. Yes. Right here. Yes. Yes. Good boy. Good boy. Sit. So also what I'm teaching him right now is tactile communication, right? He's a dog that's you know, that's been heavy treat trained, right? So the reason why I like tactile communication is because it's the best way to hold the dog accountable, right? So even down, sit. Yes. Yes, good boy. There we go. Now, when you're teaching, right, obviously the dog doesn't quite understand what it is that you're asking. That's why you're teaching. So it's going to look a little clumsy. It's going to look a little flimsy, right? The dog is going to be all over the place. But that's because they don't have a clear understanding yet, right? And that's where you have to be patient. And that's where you have to be consistent. And that's where you have to be diligent. Good boy, right? Because if you allow the dog to determine the next move, right, then the dog wins, right? Now, as you can see, right, he's fighting against me, right? But eventually he's going to learn when he feels that pressure, the faster he succumbs to that pressure, good boy, right? The faster we can move on to the next thing, right? Let me loosen this up a little bit. So he's going to learn that. But I have to stay diligent and I have to stay patient to teach him, right, what the expectations are. Good. Now let's go into the down. Now that he's simmered down a little bit. Okay. Right here. Sit. Sit. There we go. That's a good boy. Sit. There we go. Yes. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yes. Sit. Yes. That's a good boy. Huh? I can't hear you. Oh, okay. All right. Sit. Sit. Yes, good boy. There we go. That's a good boy. Okay. Down. Now, I'm saying words, right? Now, sit, he understands, right? But when you hear me say down, that's a good boy. That's a lot faster than I expected. That's a good boy. Yes. That's a good boy. Okay. Let's do it again to see. Right? Now, again, remember we're teaching. So just because a dog does something one time doesn't mean it knows exactly what it did, right? Sit. Hey, hey, right here. Right here. Hey. Yeah. Hey, hey. Yes, good boy. Right. Right here. You can see he's very easily distracted. Right here. Yes. Sit. Sit. Yes, good boy. Down. Down. Yes, good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Disco. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Come, 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 come. So yeah, folks, look. Is it a lot of work in the beginning? Yes, it is. Yes, it is, right? Teaching a dog what it is that you want it to know is a lot of work in the beginning. Some dogs are going to be harder than others. As you can see, Disco here is very easily distracted, right? He's very I don't want to say neurotic because neurotic is more of a negative outlook on life. He doesn't really have a negative outlook on life. He's not, what we call skittish. He's not super, he's not, he doesn't have bad fear, anxiety, or anything like that, right? He's just very, he's just easily distracted. That's just the reality. So, you have to do a lot of work, especially when you're not using treats, right? And if you notice, I strategically use, I'm very strategic on when and how I use treats. Whereas most training, you're going to see that treats are the foundation of the training. Now, if I'm being honest, do you get faster results with treats? Yes, you do. You get faster results with treats, but they're not as long lasting as when you use a foundation of what I call tactile communication, right? So the treat foundation can fall apart very easily if you don't know what you're doing, right? And that's probably the biggest complaint that I get from customers is that if they don't have a treat in their hand, their dog doesn't listen, right? That's probably, if it's not number one, it's number two on the list of complaints that I get from customers that have tried to train their own dogs. And literally, they say almost every single time that, if I don't have a treat in my hand, my dog doesn't want to come to me, he doesn't want to listen, so on and so forth, right? So this is why I choose to use the foundation of tactile communication. Some people call it compulsion training, right? But the truth of the matter is negative as we want to make compulsion training sound, the reality is we use compulsion every single day. The key to compulsion training is discernment, right? I'm never ever trying to be excessively aggressive, right? But I am looking to be assertive. And the reality is, the law says a leash has to be on your dog. So as soon as you put a leash on your dog, you're doing compulsion, right? Now, obviously, there's levels to it, right? There's different levels to how you do compulsion. So, obviously, you have to use, again, a high level of discernment and make sure you're not being aggressive, but you have to be assertive, right? So let's get back to it. Let's go. Let's go, big fella. Let's go, big fella. Yes, good boy. That's a good boy. Yes. That's a good boy, Disco. Yes. That's a good boy. I want to give him a lot of love because I want him to get excited about working with me. Right? There we go. That's a good boy. Yes. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it, Disco. Okay. Sit. Sit. Right here. All I'm teaching him right now is how to comply with the pressure, right? Wherever he feels the pressure. Yes, good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yeah. That's a good boy, Disco. That's a good boy. Yes. Yes, you are. Yeah, good boy. Right? Wherever he feels the pressure, right, is where he should go, as opposed to what most dogs do, probably 100% of dogs, is the where they feel pressure, they typically push against it, right? We call it opposition reflex, right? And it's a natural thing, it's a natural biological thing, right? So now again, once you understand that about dogs, right, you understand why getting a dog to listen, if you don't know how to communicate with the dog, is one of the hardest things to do, right? So let's do it again. Yes, good boy. Sit. So if you notice, pressure goes up on the neck and pressure goes down on the back end, right? And all I'm doing, I'm not aggressively, yes, that's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yes, that's a good boy. I'm not aggressively pushing down on his back end. It's just a consistent stream of pressure, right? Until he gives in to that pressure. And as soon as he begins to give into that pressure, the pressure goes away, right? Because what I'm teaching him is a concept I call flipping the switch, right? So I'm teaching him how to turn the lights off, right? Again, flipping the switch. See, I turn the pressure on, right? Or if we really want to play mind games, so to speak, right? He turns the pressure on because he's not complying with what it is that I'm asking him to do. Now, right now, he doesn't necessarily know what it is that I'm asking him to do, right? But this comes into play, the leash pressure comes into play because it's how you hold a dog accountable for the things that you know you taught them down the road, right? So we use the leash as a teaching tool, and then we use it again down the road once you know they know what it is that you're asking them to do. You use it as a correction tool or a tool to hold the dog accountable for the things that you know they know how to do, right? So that's how you properly use uh, compulsion training, right? Or tactile communication, right? So let's do it again. Disco, come. Good boy. Yes, come. Right here. Come on, come on. Yes, good boy. That's a good boy. So I just want to give him a little break to break the monotony, right? Then we're going to go back into the training. Let's go, Disco. Come on, Disco. Good boy. Yes, good boy. Come on, Disco. Come on, Disco. Yes, good boy. Yes, come on, Disco. Come on, Disco. Yes, good boy. Yes, yes, come on, Disco. Come on, Disco. Come on, come on. Yes, good boy. That's a good boy. Yes. Again, just having a little fun to break the monotony, right? Because especially with puppies, you got to be careful of how much pressure you put on them, right? Because even a confident dog can shut down. So you do little simple stuff like that, right? Little corny stuff like that. Just run back and forth because that movement gets their brain going. It's exciting for them, right? Then we can go back to training. So now we're going to go back to training. Good boy. Come on, let's go. Right here, big fella. Come. Come on. Yes. Come on. Yes. Right here. Good boy. Come on. Good boy. Okay, let's get you situated. Come on. Yes. Good boy. Okay. Right here. Come on. Yes. Right here. Sit. Yes, good boy. That's a good boy. Yeah. That's a good boy. Sit. Yes, good boy. Down. Sit. Sit. Yes, good boy. Down. Now again, he doesn't know the word down, right? I'm just saying it so he can begin to make the connection, right? Of, oh, when I feel pressure going down on my neck and pressure going down on my shoulders, that means go down, right? So I am creating the behavior that I want, right? By saying the word down. Now again, when I say down, I'm not expecting him to go down because I know he doesn't know what down means. Sit. Yes, that's a good boy. That's a good boy. Down. Mm-mm. Down. Yes, that's a good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yes, that's a good boy. That's a good boy. boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yes. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna give him a break again. Some dogs you got to give more breaks than others, right? Some dog you just got to do it. Every dog is slightly different. You cannot treat every dog the same, right? Obviously, some dogs are going to be similar, but every dog is slightly different. So, and again, that's where discernment comes in. You cannot be cookie cutter. You can't be a robot, right? When you're dealing with dogs, you have to use a lot of, what's the word? You got to use your gut, right? You learn the mechanics, you learn the techniques, right? And then you apply them based on the dog that's in front of you, not based on the dog that you want in front of you. Or even sometimes, let's be honest, based on the dog that you like, right? Some dogs, if I'm being honest, every dog you train, you're not gonna like. It's just like every person you deal with in life, you're not gonna like. And it's okay. But that's where being a professional comes in, right? All right. Disco, come here, big fella. Come here, Disco. Yes, come. Yes, good boy. Come on. That's a good boy. Yes. Sit. Sit. Yes, that's a good boy. That's a good boy. Now, if you notice, right? He knew I had the treat in my hand. He sat down, right? Again, this is a dog that has been, you know, I want to say bribed by using treats. Now, if you notice where he is, he knows I have the treat in my hand. Look where he is, right here next to me. Whereas to before, when I wasn't using the treats, right, he was kind of off doing this thing. So again, this is why I like using tactile communication as the foundation, because it's a much, in my opinion, it's a much stronger foundation than treats. Now, over time, over a long period of time, right, treats will work, or treat-based training will work, but it takes a long time. And that's the thing that, you know, when you're looking at a lot of these clips, a lot of these edits online, that's the thing that a lot of trainers are not telling people how long it takes to use treats and high value rewards, whether it's a ball or some sort of toy or whatever it is, to get those dogs to do it when those things are not present, right? It takes a long time, right? So even an e-collar, right? E-collar based training, right? What they don't tell you is when those e-collars, when those e-collars come off, a lot of those dogs, they know it. They know when the e-collar is on. So when it's taken off, guess what that dog says? F everything you're talking about. I'm going to do whatever I want to do, right? So again, this is why I like using the leash as my foundation, because it's a much stronger foundation long term, right? It doesn't get the fastest results, if I'm being honest, but long term, it's a much stronger foundation, in my opinion, right? Disco. Okay, you're taking a peek. Come here, big fella. Come on. Let's go. Right here. Come on. Yes. Come. Yes. Sit. Sit. Okay. So now, right, I'm not going to lure him. I'm not going to bribe him. I'm going to use the leash. Because, again, he's making the choice when to sit and when not to sit. Good boy. Now, I'm going to bring out a treat. Sit. Now, I'm going to bring out a treat when he complies. Yes, good boy. That's a good boy. Yes. Come. Okay. We're going to do this a couple more times, and we're going to put him away, and we're going to bring out the next dog. Yes, there we go. Good boy. Good boy. Yes, good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yes. period of time, and I'm trying to maintain his attention for a little bit longer to be a little bit more productive. But if you notice, right, I'm not bribing him, right? I'm not putting a treat in his face and saying, please sit down. If you sit down, I'm gonna give you this treat. If you notice, I only bring the treat out once he complies with the thing that I want him to do by way of leash pressure, right? So I do want him to know that there's a reward at the end, right? But I'm not bribing him by putting a reward in his face, right? Hey, right here. Yes, good boy. That's a good boy. Come on, bring it around. Yes, right here. Mm-hmm. Good boy. Sit. Yes, that's a good boy. Down. Yeah, that's a good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yes. So we're gonna actually leave it right there, right? Because he left off on a good note, and you gotta let the dog know when it's won and when it's done a good job. Work over, right? Good boy. That's a good boy. So let's put him away and bring out the next dog. Heel. Sit. Okay, now we have Miss Abby here. So it's going to be more or less the same thing. Yep. So first thing we're going to do is just kind of let her be free, right? Let her get that sense of freedom. And then we're going to go to work. Let's go, Miss Abby. Come on. Okay. Let her finish drinking the water. Let her finish drinking the water. Yep. Abby, come, 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 come. Yes, good girl. Good girl. Come. Sit. Yes, good girl. Good girl. Yes. Good girl. Come. 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 Right here. Place. Sit. Come. Come. Sit. Right here. Come. Come. Right here. Come. Yes, right there. Sit. Yes, good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Yes. Heel. Up. Sit. Good girl. Good. So now if you notice with this girl, Abby, right? I'm using a little bit more treats than I did with the other dogs. So what I do sometimes, depending on the dog, right, is after I've laid the foundation of the tactile communication and the leash training, right, I will add treats in later to what's the word? To add a little bit more zest onto the behaviors, right? Because if I'm being honest, treats do make a dog move faster, right? So once I lay the foundation of the tactile or leash based training, then I will double back and not all dogs, but some dogs I'll do it. I'll add in the treat training, right? Do you take calls and messages? I'm a younger trainer that could use some advice on a young corso that I'm working with. Yeah. Shoot me a text to 815-351-6636, and I'll do what I can to help you, my man. That's Pretty Boy Ali. So again, that's 815-351-6636. Shoot me a text. Because as you can see, if you call me, I might be doing a live, I might be training a dog. So it's much more probable that if you shoot me a text, I'll get back to you faster. Because if you call me, there's a good chance that if I miss the call, I might not call you back. I'm just being honest. So yeah, shoot me a text again, 815-351-6636. Abby, come. Abby, hey, come. Yes, good girl. So now, perfect example, right? She's in the yard. Now, don't mind the yard. We're doing some work. We're building garden boxes in the front yard. So that's why you see all the boxes in the what you call it in the front yard, the wood chips. So now this is where the leash comes in, right? So I'm gonna take the leash and I'm gonna give her what I call an assertive tap on the shoulder. Abby, come. Yes, good girl. There we go. Come, 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 come. Good girl. Yes. Good girl. Right here. Come on. Hey, right here. Yes. Yes. There we go. So now what we're going to work on with Abby is we're going to work on duration, which again, duration is a fancy way of saying stay. Now, again, as I said earlier, I don't use the word stay, right? My stay is an implied stay. So when I put you in a position, right, I want you to stay there until I tell you or until I release you from that position, right? Ah, ah. Ah. Yes, girl. Ah. Ah. Girl. Ah. Girl. Ah. Ah. So, just so you know what I'm doing, this is another form. Ah. 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 Sit. Girl. Yes. I'm using another form. Ah. 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 Sit. I'm using another form of tactile communication, which is spatial pressure, right? Now, technically, when you use spatial pressure, you're not necessarily touching the dog, but being that you are closing in at, being that you are closing in on the personal space of the dog, it gives the sensation of physical touch, right? So it's still a form of tactile communication, right? Good girl. Yes. Ah. Ah. like a fishing line, right? Ah, ah, ah. Sit. Oh, good girl. Ah, sit. Good girl. Now, if you now, if you notice, if you notice, ah, as soon as I start talking, she wants to break the command. Ah. Now, if you notice, I'm using the leash as a fishing line, right? Which, again, it gives me faster access to her when she breaks command. So now all I'm trying to do is get a distance that I'm satisfied with, and she doesn't break the command, then I'm going to come back and reward her. Because again, what I'm teaching her is she only gets the reward when she completes the task. And how does she know if the task is complete? Because I'll tell her, right? Abby, free. Yes, good girl. That's a good girl. Right? So I just told her that the task is complete. So that free command is a command to let her know that she can go off and be a dog. She can do whatever she wants to do, right? So yeah. So we're gonna work that with her for a little while longer. Now, also what I want to tell you, hey. See that black shepherd there? That's my dog. Boy, you talking about a dog that will work your nerves? As you can see, right? That dog is a piece of work, man. But excellent dog, super smart, obviously high energy. He's actually a dog that I'm highly considering doing sport with, just because he has the temperament, man. He has the drive, he has the confidence, right? He has the intelligence. So he's a dog that I'm highly considering doing sport protection with, right? But let's get back to Miss Abby. Oh, that's what I was talking about, right? So if you guys notice, if you've ever done any type of e-collar training, right? The way that I'm using spatial pressure and the leash communication or tactile communication is the exact same way that they use the e-collar, right? The concept is exactly the same, right? The only difference is I'm the person that is applying the pressure as opposed to the collar on their neck, right? Which kind of gives the illusion that you're not in conflict with the dog, right? In my opinion, if I'm being honest, I honestly think that a healthy level of conflict, right? And I'm only using the word conflict because this is the word that's being used throughout the training industry, right? Nobody wants to be in conflict with their dog. But here's the reality, folks. Dogs are communal animals, right? And anytime you have a community of beings, whether it's humans or animals, there's always going to be a hierarchy, right? So the entire sentiment of not being in conflict, when we know that dogs have hierarchies when they operate within a pack, it literally goes against the entire biology of a dog. Now, again, I'm not sitting here saying that you have to be super aggressive, right? But you do have to be assertive. The dog does have to know who to answer to, right? And not that I'm against e-collar training, because I think every tool has a time and a place, right? But I believe the industry has become way too dependent on a tool that technically, right, technically is not a tool that you can legally use in public, right? The tool that you are legally bound to use in public is a leash, which means every dog that you see by law is supposed to have a leash on it, right? And the other reason why I don't like an e-collar is because it overcomplicates things, in my opinion, right? Meaning you are now depending upon something in addition to the tool that you have to use anyway, right? So when you take your dog for a walk, it has to be on a leash. Now, obviously, you see people walking their dog off leash. So, of course, you see people doing that. But the law states that your dog has to be on a leash, right? So you at least have to have a leash handy, right? To where if a police officer decides that they want to tell you to put a leash on the dog, you have a leash present to do so, right? So you still have to have a leash on you, is what I'm saying. And then if your foundation of training is e-collar, now that's something extra that you have to add on, that you have to carry in your hand and do all this extra stuff with. And then you got the clicker, right? So you got all of these different things that people are trying to fumble in their hand. And in my opinion, it just makes it too complicated for the average person. So I like to operate off of the concept of keep it simple, stupid. Meaning, I want to keep this process of teaching people how to train their dogs as simple as I possibly can, because the more tools that I have to teach them how to use, the more complicated it makes it to communicate with the human, let alone the dog, right? So anyway, let's get back to Miss Abby here. All right, Miss Abby, come on. Let's go, Abby. Let's go, Miss Abby. Yes, good girl. Good girl. Hey, come. Yes, good girl. Come. Sit. Good girl. Good girl. Ah. Ah. Notice I'm going step by step. Ah. And as soon as I get close enough to her, I put my foot on the leash so that way she can't go too far away from me, right? Then I correct her, sit, and we start over. Ah. Remove all of this leash from up under her. Now this is, again, every tool has their downside, right? There's no perfect tool. There's no perfect tool, right? The downside to a long leash is obviously it gets cumbersome, right? So then, obviously, you have to learn the technique of using a long leash, right? That's why I lean more towards a retractable leash. Now, here's the downside of the retractable leash, right? That can also be cumbersome because of the handle, right? Whereas a long leash doesn't have a handle. So it depends on the situation on which tool I use, right? Between a long leash, ah, 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 between a long leash and a retractable leash. Typically, the retractable leash, I use that when I'm doing training and I'm walking a dog, right? So typically when I'm teaching loose leash training or any type of leash etiquette, right, as far as walking the dog in public, I'll use a retractable leash, right? Because obviously when I want to give the dog a free command, the dog can go off and do what it wants to do, and I don't have to be right behind the dog, And when it's time for the dog to come back, all of this extra stuff that I'm dealing with now retracts back into the leash. But the reason why I like the long lead in this scenario is because I'm also doing, by default, I'm also doing barrier training, right? Or threshold training, meaning that I can drop the leash, unlike the retractable leash. I can hook the end of the long lead onto the fence. I can drop this, right? And I'm hands free, right? So, which means I can do things that I can't do with the retractable leash that I can do with the long lead, right? So it just depends on the application on which tool I use in the moment, right? So again, you just kind of have to know what you're doing and the best tool for the application, that you're doing. And I'm gonna let her drink some water. All right, that's enough. Abby, come. Right here. Yes, good girl. Place. Sit. Good girl. Yes, that's a good girl. That's a good. Sit. Sit. Yes, good girl. That's a good girl. Right here. Sit. Yes, good girl. Good girl. Free. Good girl. Yes, that's a good girl, Abby. All right. Yep. So we're gonna give this girl a break. We're gonna put her away, and we're gonna bring out the next dog. Yep. We're gonna bring out the next dog. So Miss Abby. All right, Mr. Quincy. Boy. Yes. Hey, stop that. All right. Yep. All right, Quincy, come. Good boy. Sit. Good boy. Yes. Good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yes. Heel. So this is Quincy. Quincy is actually with me for what we call aggression, right? Reactivity, aggression training, right? He's highly reactive on the leash, specifically to other dogs and to people too. But so we've been working a lot on socialization with him. And obviously, by default, we're always going to work on obedience, right? Because obedience is a great way to engage with your dog, to communicate with them as opposed to otherwise, if you didn't have a good level of obedience on the dog, then obviously they can pretty much do whatever they want to do, right? So let's get to it. Quincy, come. Good boy. Good boy. Place. Yes. Sit. Good boy. Good boy. Let's work on some downs real quick. Sit. Let's work on some downs with Quincy. good boy. That's a good boy. So yeah, this is Quincy here. Quincy's a good boy. He's just, you know, he has some confidence issues. He has extreme attachment issues. Some people call it separation anxiety, right? So we've been working diligently on that, right? Getting him to understand that when the owner, right, goes away is not a bad thing, right? Because his confidence is so tied up in being with the owner, right? So we've had to do quite a bit of work on building his confidence in not being with the owner, right? It's still pretty high, but it's definitely not as bad as it was before, right? So Quincy, come, Quincy, come. Yes, good boy. Hey, come on. Place. Sit. Good boy. Down. Down. All the way. Down. Nope. Sit. Down. So now I'm just gonna hold it here. So if you notice, when I was down on the ground, all right, or when I get low, he goes down. But when I stand straight up, he doesn't want to go down. So now what I'm going to do is just hold this here, and every so often, I'm going to increase the pressure by 1%, right? Or increase the tension on the leash by 1% until he goes down. The moment he goes down, that's it. So now we got to reset. The moment he goes down is the moment the pressure goes away, right? Now, I may give some assistance by applying more pressure on his shoulders. And again, I'm not aggressively pushing. I'm just applying a constant stream of pressure, right? Until he complies. Good. We're just going to hold it here until he goes down. Because I know I have more time than him. There you go. Yes, yes, there you go. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yes. That's a good boy. Yes, yes, yes. Good boy. Okay. So now let's work the duration. Quincy, come. Hey, come, come, come. Yes, good boy. Place. Sit. Good boy. Down. Down. All the way. Yes. Down. Good boy. There you go. So now we're going to work some duration, aka stay. Again, I don't use the word stay. My stay is built into the command. You see he's doing pretty good. This is the only thing I don't like about the long lead, right? You gotta be able to manage it so it doesn't get all twisted and tangled up as you're trying to do your training, because obviously that can complicate things. So every so often you gotta straighten it out and, you know. Free. Good boy. Yes, that's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yeah, you get a treat for that, Quincy. Here you go. Quincy, there you go. Yeah, you get a treat for that. Good boy. That's a good boy. Yes. All right, let's do that again. Okay, let him drink some water. I'm going to drink something too while he's drinking the water. mitts here. Okay. All right. Let's go, Quincy. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Good boy. Come. Good boy. Place. Sit. Down. Down. Okay. We're gonna hold it again until he goes down. Down. Yes, good boy. Go a little bit further this time. I'm gonna ask him more control. Ah! Sit. Down. Good boy. Good boy. Now I'm going to ask him to hold it there. Just hold it. I have no specific time frame that I want him to hold it. Just when I feel it's time for him to move, then I'm going to give him the command to move. Right? And this is another concept I call being predictably unpredictable, which means you don't want to be so systematic to where the dog can predict when you're about to tell it to do the next thing, right? Because if you do that, dogs are very anticipatory animals. So they literally have an internal clock that's better than ours, right? They're predatory animals. They have to have that ability to time things because they have to time the rabbit, they have to time the deer, right? So, because I know that, I become predictably unpredictable, which means at some point they know a command is coming. They just don't know when. So they have to control themselves until they get the signal from me, not when they decide to make the move. Free. Yes, good boy. Come. Good boy. Come. Yeah, that's a good boy. Sit. That's my boy, Quincy. That's my boy. You a good boy? Huh? You a good boy? Yeah? You a good boy? You a good boy? Huh? Yeah? Good boy. You's a good boy. You's a good boy. You's a good boy. Yes. You's a good boy. You's a good boy. You want water? Okay, go and get some water. So yeah, we're gonna put Quincy up. Now we're gonna bring the last dog out, which I just picked this dog up this weekend. He's a Doberman. So we're literally just, at the beginning stages of his training. So once he finished drinking, I'm going to put Quincy up, bring Zeus out, the Doberman. All right, stay tuned. Come on, Quincy. Let's go, big fella. Boy. Come. All right, so now we're gonna bring Zeus out. Big Zeus. the first thing we're working on, let me bring you guys closer for a second. Bring you guys closer for a second. All right, this is a part of that threshold barrier training that I was talking about earlier. Let me flip you guys around so you can see what I'm talking about here. Take this phone call on the other phone real quick. Hold on, give me a second. Give me a second. Gotta take this phone call. I'll put you guys on mute while I take this call real quick. Oh, shoot. You guys were still, my bad. You guys were still on mute. My fault. My fault. So yeah, so basically what I was saying was every dog is slightly different. You can't train every dog the same. I'm trying to fake like I'm not catching my breath, but I am trying to catch my breath and talk to y'all at the same time, right? But if you notice, right, I used the fun factor as a reward, right? I leverage everything I possibly can. Now there's a dog coming over here, right? Now he hasn't seen the dog yet, right? But this is where, come, yes, good boy, that's a good boy, that's a good boy, that's a good boy, right? So this is where the long lead comes in, because I want to see if, once he sees that dog, if he tries to go get it. So then I'm going to use the long lead to my advantage. But as I was saying, that fun factor is huge, right? Once you know how to engage a dog, I'm going to be honest with you, it's very rare that you're going to need treats. Zeus, come. Good boy, that's a good boy. You see, he came back. He was all the way behind the truck, and he came back. When you call a dog's name, right, you want that to represent fun, right? Now, you see he's jumping on me, and I'm not correcting him. I typically don't like dogs jumping on me unless I invite them to jump on me. But the reason why I'm not correcting him in this moment, right, I call this concept losing the battle to win the war, is because I don't want him to be confused about the fact that I asked him to come to me, right? So I will take the loss of him jumping on me right now, because ultimately he did what I asked him to do, which was come to me. And the truth of the matter is, he didn't have to come to me, right? He made the choice to come to me. I didn't have to remind him. I didn't have to give him any physical corrections or anything like that. I didn't have to do no redirecting. So let's try it again, right? You see, let me flip this around. Let's try it again, right? You see, he's all the way at the side. Zeus, come, Zeus, come. Okay, so now, yes, good boy. Oh, you smell the orange peel. You got the orange peel in your mouth. Okay, give me this. But he still came. It took him a minute, but he still came. So I got to give him love for that. And believe it or not, that's all we're going to do with this big fella on this particular session, right? Sometimes you got to know when to fold them, right? You got to use that intuition to know, okay, you know what? We got great results in that 10 or 15 minutes. Let's leave it at that. Let's not try to push it, because then that's when things can start to fall apart. All right, so let me put this guy away, and then I'll come back and close you guys out. Zeus, come on. Let's go, big fella. Come on. Good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Come on. Zeus, right here. All right, folks. So that's it for today. Man, that's what, an hour and a half. A lot of information. So obviously, if you guys have any questions, you can always reach out. You can text me 15351-666-6636. And looking forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share, and all that beautiful stuff that you need to do on YouTube to push this information out. And until the next video, you are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul. Stay safe, buddy, stay dangerous. Peace and prosperity.